Let's talk about something that's been creeping into our lives more and more, the nanny state. You know, that idea where the government acts like a overprotective babysitter, stepping in to fix every personal problem with rules, handouts, and taxes. Let's start with the basics. What is this nanny state all about? At its heart, the nanny state says that if you've got personal troubles, like being broke, sick, lonely, hooked on bad habits, getting old, or struggling to find your way in life, you can demand help from the government. The government then has to step up with social guarantees, like programs that hand out money or services. To make it happen, they create big plans funded by taxes and backed by force if needed. How do they pull this off? There are three main ways. 1. Direct handouts from the government's pocket. Think Social Security checks, welfare payments like SNAP food stamps, Medicaid for free or cheap healthcare, or subsidized housing. The government takes money from taxes and gives it straight to people in need. 2. Forcing people to pay others. This can be direct or through taxes. For example, parts of Obamacare require folks to buy insurance or face penalties, which helps cover others' medical costs. 3. Banning certain free deals between people. Like minimum wage laws that say you can't agree to work for less than a set amount, even if both sides are okay with it. Or strict workplace safety rules that block jobs in tougher conditions, no matter what the worker wants. In the end, all this boils down to taking from some folks, mostly through taxes, and giving to others. It's not like voluntary charity from churches, neighbors, or GoFundMe pages. This is forced. It steps on property rights and the freedom to make your own deals. Some say, hey, the government can fund this from its own stuff, like renting out federal lands. But that doesn't hold up. Real profits from property fluctuate with the market and smart management. Social handouts? They're promised no matter what, and when the government stuff doesn't pay enough, which it usually doesn't, because government's not great at business, taxes fill the gap. This setup creates social rights, things like the right to a job, free healthcare, vacation time, or a comfy retirement. But these aren't like your right to own your house or your body. They're claims on other people's stuff. The more you push these social rights, the more you squash real property rights. Now, let's talk about where this road leads. Human nature is simple, people chase rewards. If the government pays you for being poor, sick, or old, guess what? Over time, society gets more poor, sick, and old people. Sounds harsh? Let me explain with a thought experiment. Imagine a town with no welfare at first. Everyone works, saves, or gets help from family and charities. Then the government starts small payments for the poor. Some folks on the edge, maybe they were barely scraping by, decide, why bust my back when I can get by on this? They become full-time, poor on the dole. Charities have limits, they watch their budgets and push people to improve. But government? It can always hike taxes to cover more. This kicks off a cycle, more people on benefits vote for politicians who promise bigger checks. Taxes go up. More folks join the line. Taxes go up again. It snowballs. And it's not just more of the same, politicians get creative. They spot new problems and create programs for them, aid for single parents, the unemployed, students in debt, even folks feeling down or out of shape. Pretty soon, everyone's got a hand out. Bureaucrats multiply to run it all. In a democracy like American, where everyone votes, this explodes because politicians buy votes with promises. Is there a stop? Short term, yeah, taxes can only go so high before folks rebel. Long term, it kills growth. High taxes scare off businesses, slow innovation, and shrink the economy. Look at places like California or New York with huge welfare spending, they're drowning in debt and losing people to states like Texas or Florida with lower taxes. Governments try tricks to delay the crash. After World War II, more women joined the workforce, boosting taxes. But that led to fewer kids, shrinking the future tax base. Immigration was next, bring in workers to pay for retirees. But immigrants often end up on benefits too, turning it into welfare migration. None of this stops the rot, it just spreads it. Take retirement programs like Social Security. The idea, government taxes working folks to pay retirees now. But it pays for being old, so society ages faster. How? It discourages big families. Why have kids if Uncle Sam covers your golden years? People retire early, pushing for lower retirement ages. And folks save less, figuring the government's got their back, which slows economic growth. Social Security's heading for trouble. It's projected to run short by the 2030s, needing cuts or tax hikes. Why? Not just longer lives or fewer kids from wealth, though that's part. The real killer is the incentives. If people lived longer, we just raise the retirement age to balance it. But no, politics pushes for easier outs. Let's crunch simple numbers to show the waste. Say an average American earns $60,000 a year for 40 years. Social Security takes about 12.4%, split between you and your boss, that's $7,440 a year. Imagine instead putting that into a safe investment, like bonds or a rental property, earning 3% a year compounded. After 40 years? You'd have over $600,000. Just the interest could give you $1,500 a month, and your kids inherit the pile. And if you invested in something more lucrative, like S&P stock, you would have average of 8 to 9% per year, you would have not just $600,000, but over $1.4 million. Compare that to average Social Security, about $1,500 to $1,600 a month now, but nothing left for heirs, and it's funded by today's workers, not your savings. This is like a pyramid scheme, new workers pay old ones. Early joiners, like boomers, did okay, later ones get squeezed. Funded fixes, where part goes to investments, don't solve it, they still rely on government force, not personal responsibility. Over time, the nanny state erodes good values. Work ethic tanks, why hustle if handouts are there? Families suffer, pensions mean less need for kids to care for parents. Free public schools plus child labor bans make kids a cost, not help, for longer. Aid for broken families rewards single parenting, deadbeat dads, and even risky choices. Worse, it subsidizes bad behavior. Crime a problem? Call it a social issue, and suddenly taxpayers fund rehab, housing, or jobs for offenders, while victims pay taxes for it. This cycle makes crime a lifestyle choice. Finally, this setup breeds hidden power grabs. Redistributing money creates winners and losers, so someone has to decide who gets what. That someone is an elite, top bureaucrats, politicians, media bosses, and big CEOs. They control billions, buying loyalty with benefits or punishing with rules. Think agencies dictating family planning, school quotas for diversity, or courts forcing tolerance training. It's social engineering on steroids, worse than old dictators, because it's sneaky, wrapped in helping. In the end, we get a weak, divided society ruled by cynics tweaking human nature. Dystopias like 1984 or Brave New World. They could come via welfare, not war. Folks, the nanny state promises help but delivers dependency, debt, and decay. It's a road to nowhere, economic stall, moral rot, and elite control. You need to push back, favor personal responsibility, real charity, and freedom over force. Cut the handouts, lower taxes, and let people build their own futures. America thrived on self-reliance. You should get back to that before it's too late. Thanks for listening. If you think this was useful, like the video and subscribe.